Hi, welcome back to Soggy Granola. I am so glad you're here. I've recently posted a few videos talking about how you can make your child a millionaire. I will link the playlist up here called Custodial Investment. In my first video, I talked about 3 different ways that you can build wealth and make your child a millionaire through investing in their future, starting now. My second video, I talked all about a 529 account, which is a college savings plan, which is a great avenue to take if you're wanting to set money aside specifically for their education. But today we are going to be talking about a retirement account. A retirement account for your little one? Yes, a retirement account for your children. If you are in the workforce, you may be familiar with the different types of retirement accounts. The 2 most common is a 401k, which is funded with pre-tax dollars. This is very common to receive through employers. And then there's also a ROTH IRA, which is funded with post-tax dollars. They're both very common. Typically through an employer, you're going to receive a 401k. So if this is a retirement investment account, why do we need to be putting money into our kids' retirement? Well, that's a great question. One way that we can build wealth for our little ones and to set them up for future success is to start today. So for example, if you open up a Roth IRA for your child today and you start contributing to that account, even just putting $50 to $100 every month into this Roth IRA for your little ones, when they turn 18, they can continue putting money into that retirement account, which is going to continue to grow so that when they become of retirement age, they will be set. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on just a few things that I mentioned in my previous videos. Number 1, you do not need to be an expert. You do not need to be an expert in investing or finances to be able to start putting money away for your children today. Number 2, bring your children into this equation. Teach them about money, teach them about investing. If you are learning, bring them in and learn together. This is something that they should be learning early on so that when they have wealth in the future, they know how to use it properly and they're aware of how to continue growing wealth on their own. Number 3, you don't need to be rich to make your kids rich. It only takes little deposits throughout their lifetime to be able to start building that wealth for them that they can continue to grow when they turn 18. You don't need to have a ton of money to start putting money aside for your little ones today. It's super important to educate our kids on finances when they're young. It's important that we bring them into that conversation and make it a normal conversation to have with them about their finances, about wealth, about growing wealth, because finances are a part of everybody's life. So let's get into all the details of a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is funded with post-tax dollars, which means your gains are tax-free. And because this is a retirement account, these funds are available at the age of 59 and a half. So even though I'm putting money in for my son today, he won't have access to these funds until he's of retirement age. However, just like with everything else, there are exceptions to when that money can be withdrawn. There are 3 different ways that you can withdraw prior to the age of 59 and a half. Let's talk about those. So the first way is you can access the principal amount invested, your initial investment, with no penalty. So if you've invested $5,000 into the account, but it has grown to $10,000, $5,000 is your principal investment, $5,000 is your gain. You can have access to your principal investment of $5,000 with no penalty. That's your money that you put in, you can take it back out. However, if you want access to the additional $5,000, your gains, you are going to be taxed on that money and you're gonna pay a 20% penalty on the gains because you're pulling it out prior to retirement age. The second way that you can pull money out of this account prior to retirement age, after the account has been open for 5 years, is if you are a first-time home buyer. So if you are investing for your child and the account has grown to $20,000 and your child wants to buy their first home, they can withdraw the principal investment and the gains to purchase their home without having to pay a penalty, which is pretty cool. However, I wouldn't suggest this because you really want this money to sit and grow so that it's working towards their investment, but if they needed it for that purpose, it's there. The third way is for medical hardships. I don't recommend that. I think that the longer that we can let that money sit there, the better, because again, this is a retirement account. The purpose of this account is for retirement. Now, there are a few different ways that you can fund your custodial Roth IRA. The first one is through stocks like Apple, PayPal, Visa, Tesla. The other way that you can do it is through mutual funds, which you are investing into a company that then invests your money into multiple different stocks. So if you're not comfortable choosing stocks to invest in, a mutual fund would be the way to go. And some common mutual funds are Fidelity, Schwab, and State Street. The third option would be through bonds. Now, for reference, if you were to invest $26 a month from the time that your child was born until they turned 18, and then they turned 18 and they continued to invest $26 a month, they would be able to retire with $1 million. And that's just with $26 a month from birth to age 60. Now you can imagine if you were to increase that amount, or when your child turned 18 and they took over the account and they were to put more money into the account, how that number can really grow substantially and set them up for a really comfortable future. As you can see, a small investment really has a big impact as it sits and grows over time. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I would love if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I post new videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I would love to have you be part of this community. It was so great having you today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!